Hello friends, today we're going to speak about the power of visualization for fitness. Now, I want to preface this conversation by saying that this is not some new age ideology. This is none of that manifestation stuff that you're hearing out there or visualization stuff that you may or may not have heard out there. This is more utilizing one of the most powerful tools that we as humans have, and that is our brain. I want to show you how to actually make things happen before they happen by activating your brain in a very, very specific way. I believe that if you are battling with weight, if you are not fit, if you don't like what you see in the mirror, it's going to take a little bit of faith and faith alone before you can actually get to looking the way you want to look. Now, do we need practical steps to get there? Yes. Do we need to diet? Do we need to go to the gym? Do we need to prepare? Do we need to possibly hire a coach? 100%. But before that actually happens, we need to prepare our mind. I truly believe that what we see is what we do. 90% of the visual stimulation out there that hits you, maybe it's the car you want, the spouse you want, the career you want, happens through your eyes. The eyes, right, the vision is a very, very powerful tool that basically informs our brain and then our emotions and then our actions. And so it all starts with the eyes. You need to actually visualize what it is you want. The big challenge I see oftentimes with my clients when they first come in, they're 25, 50, 100 pounds overweight, is that they're seeing themselves in a specific way, right? They see themselves in the mirror and that reinforces the idea that this is too hard and this is a lot of work, and it makes it really hard for them to ever move forward and actually get things done. So a long time ago, I realized that the first thing that needs to be activated is the visualization process of who I want to become. In other words, the power of visualization so that you can see yourself as a fit person before it actually happens. There's a part of the brain called the reticular activating system. We're just going to abbreviate that as RAS, okay? And the reticular activating system is a very powerful part of the brain that is in charge of reminding us of things that we have seen, things that we have heard, or things that we have experienced, okay? And so let me give you a perfect example. Maybe one day you were in the market for a car and you fell in love with a red Volkswagen. So you went to the dealer, you test drove it, maybe you didn't buy it that day, but you were very specific, you loved the car, you leave the dealer, and as soon as you leave that dealer, you start looking everywhere and you see red Volkswagens everywhere. And some of you guys are really silly, and the first thing you say is, oh, God wants me to have this, it's meant to be. Look at that, I'm seeing it everywhere, right? And of course, you guys become a little sort of mystical about the whole thing, right? Because you feel like it's there and it must be meant to be if I'm seeing it everywhere. What is actually happening is that your reticular activating system has now been informed of the thing that you want. Prior to that, you were deleting, distorting, and generalizing that idea. And so I'd like to use the reticular activating system in a very powerful way to get you to where you want to be. Now, hear me out, guys. Like anything in life that has value, this requires work and it requires consistency. If you do it one day, it's not gonna work for you, right? You have to consistently have a vision of where you wanna be and what you wanna look like in order for this to really, really take place. This is why a lot of self-fulfilling prophecies happen where people will say, I'm scared or I'm petrified of XYZ. And generally, interestingly enough, and sadly enough, a lot of times those things come to be because people constantly are thinking about the thing they don't want, and all of a sudden it just happens, it comes into their lives because they're constantly thinking and obsessing about that and actually doing the work in a very negative way, and these self-fulfilling prophecies actually happen. I'm here to say that we have the ability to turn that in a very positive way and actually get to a place where we look, feel, and finally achieve the things that for most of us have been elusive, because maybe you've been on a million different diets, you've worked with a bunch of different coaches, and you've never been able to get to that point where you say, I love the way I look, I love the way I feel. So I want to help you with that. So we want to activate the reticular activating system, and I want to show you how to do that in 3 very simple ways. I'm going to show you 3 hacks that are going to activate the reticular activating system so you become very focused, right? You become very, very much engaged in the thing that you want to be and do from a fitness perspective. And so the first thing I want to show you is intention setting, which is a component that I teach all of our clients that are coming through the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. And that is that in order for something to happen, we need to intention set. Intention setting says that you pick a date, you pick a time, and you pick a place for one specific event to happen. You may say, JT, isn't that a to-do list? Sort of. To-do lists aren't as specific. What we want to do is we want to be very specific, and we want to tell the brain specifically what we want it to do. So maybe it's the date, right? So we pick out Saturday morning, right? Saturday, I'm going to go grocery shopping at 9 a.m. and I'm gonna go to Fresh Market or Whole Foods or wherever it is you buy your groceries, right? Now you've picked a time, a date, and a place. You're very, very specific, and you're directing that reticular activating system to go do that. Secondly, we want to set up alarms. We want to set up alarms for the next day. We want to bulletproof those alarms. Let me explain bulletproofing. Bulletproofing basically says that if you said that you were going to be XYZ place on Saturday at 9 a.m., right? You pick the specific place. What you actually want to do is you want to set an alarm for 8:15, 8:30, and then one for 9 o'clock, because you want to be there at 9 o'clock. So at 8:15, your first alarm goes off. You go, oh, it's time for me to go to the supermarket, right? Then again, 15, 20 minutes later, another alarm, sort of nudges you, right? The alarm that says 9 a.m., by 9 a.m., you should be there, right? And so what you're doing is you're setting up 3 alarms. You're bulletproofing those alarms, because we have a tendency to snooze alarms. So something will come up and be like, oh yeah, that's right, I got to do that. And you snooze it. Next thing you know, you get distracted and you don't get to the place. So you want to make sure that you set a specific date, a specific time, a specific place. You want to make sure that you set 3 different alarms to get to that specific place. And then you want accountability. Now, accountability is tricky because some of you guys decide to get accountability from friends, from your spouse, and that's okay. That's a form of accountability, but that's loose accountability. And here's why. We have a tendency, right? We have a tendency to not necessarily respect or see with the seriousness that we would see a third unbiased party. So if it's our spouse and we tell our spouse to hold us accountable, and all of a sudden our spouse holds us accountable, there's some tension there, some back and forth, and we kind of push back a little bit on that because it's too easy. They're the people we love. So there's that closeness that doesn't allow us to have that friction and that intensity that a third unbiased party would have. So we find someone that maybe it's a friend that doesn't live with us, and we tell them how important this specific thing to go to the grocery shop, go grocery shopping and meal prepping is, because we're trying to change our fitness and nutrition. And so we express that to that friend. That friend basically is going to call us at 8:30, or maybe even call us at 11 o'clock and say, hey, did you go grocery shopping? Hey, did you actually meal prep, right? So we need the accountability. Accountability, guys, is super powerful, right? And then we want to reinforce that specific idea. We want to make sure that once we do all the things we said we were going to do, we meal prep, we get everything ready, we start to really visualize what it is we want to look like and be like, right? Maybe you close your eyes just for 30 to 60 seconds and you start to visualize what you would look like once you actually consistently meal prep, you consistently eat the right foods, you consistently activate your physiology. And maybe you're not in that place at the time, but you create a mental image of what you want to look like and what you want to be like. And you repeat that, you reinforce that idea, that mindset, and you see that picture very vivid, very clear, very crisp in your mind. And you do this day after day after day. My friend, what's actually going to happen is it's not going to magically shrink your body. It's not going to magically make you fit. But because you're thinking and you're seeing yourself in that way, you start to have the actions, the congruent actions that are going to lead you in that destination. Your brain is very powerful. Your brain not only picks up things consciously, but the subconscious things that actually happen behind the scenes are more powerful than the ones that happen consciously. So when you're feeding your brain consistently with this image, the activities and the things that happen are going to be consistent with that image. This is why, most likely, if you're not in the right place, if you've gained some weight, you have reinforced that idea because you see yourself in the mirror every day. The mirror becomes that sort of reinforcement mechanism, and it's working against you. So what we want to do is we want to close our eyes, we want to reverse engineer that, and we want to see ourselves in the place that we want to be. And when we actually do that and we start to powerfully envision that and reinforce that idea and follow that with the correct actions, my friend, you're going to be in a very different place. You're going to look a very different way in a very short period of time. And so I'm here to say that if you want to get fit, if you actually want to make fitness and proper nutrition a part of your life, if you want to lose however much weight you want to lose, decrease body fat percentages, get healthy, strong, then my friend, you're going to have to see yourself there before you actually get there, okay? So today we spoke about the power of visualization in order to get fit. My name is JT Tapias, professional fitness life coach with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. And please remember that it's not just about dynamics, it's not just about the diet, but it's about what is happening in your brain. And this is some of the things that I'm very passionate about speaking about, because I know that this is what moves the needle truly. Besides the dynamics, you have to engage in the cognitive processes in order to get to your fittest version of yourself. So I hope you enjoyed it. More importantly, I hope you activate yourself and you actually head in this direction. You start utilizing some of these exercises. Come back to this video, take some notes, and put things into action. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love this one here. My name is JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.